Welcome back to the Echoes podcast. Good morning, chaps. How are we?
Good, cuz. How you going?
Morning, lads.
Yeah, pretty damn good.
That's
Pretty
the
damn
way, cuz.
good. We're finally
That's the
doing
dream.
this show live, which we should have been doing many years ago, to be honest with you. It's the way to go.
I think my whole house pretty much hears it live. Up starting coffees. Might have to change this time slot eventually, but meantime
Wake 'em
it's
up,
alright.
guys.
We might.
Just 5:30 a.m.
Just the
coffee
first
grinder
wake up.
just ripping through the whole house. One of that's
It's a good way to start your Saturday morning too, cuz. Big night on
boys love
Friday. Wake up.
yeah. Just coming off the
Beautiful,
pub.
cuz. Yeah.
Get up, lads.
Here we go, cuz.
Yep.
Here we go.
You guys want to hop onto YouTube to see how it's looking, or so we can?
I'll have a look, cuz. Let me just have a quick. Let me have a quick look, cuz.
See, we got our first comment.
Yeah. I think it was a bot.
I like what he
What,
said.
I liked what he said as well.
what do you say?
I respect his opinion. We're not going to go into it, guys, but I think it's good.
It was like 1,000 words.
Yeah, it's good for the algorithm. Get our word out there. Bots or no bots.
Hey,
Yeah, we take
did you
lots
see-
at this one.
Do you see someone else has got a Yoko's podcast on YouTube?
Yeah, old mate.
Alright, we might have to change the name then.
I think maybe he might do because he's got 253 subscribers. This Yoko's podcast.
Yeah,
I think we can catch him.
Won't take.
we
long.
should be able to catch him.
All right. Should we just buy the rights to it?
Yeah.
You- How's it looking, guys?
I'm just trying to find it right now because Yoko's
I've
live.
got okay. Yeah.
Send us the link, because
Just-
I'm not finding it anyway.
Yoko's
mean?
live.
I'll send it to you right now. I'm looking at it.
Just send it to us, guys. Where are you sending it to, cuz?
What's that?
Nice. Thanks, guys. All right, let's have a look. Live. It's looking great, cuz.
It actually looks alright.
Yeah, it's not bad, cuz. We get the
What's the
job
chat
done.
saying?
How many
They
viewers we
hear
got?
us, right? Nice, lads. What's on the agenda?
There's like probably about a 5 or 10 second delay
Yeah.
between this video and the YouTube video. So you're watching now. I think it's YouTube.
I think it's just me and you, cuz. Send the comments through, cuz.
Hey, keep us up there.
Oh dear.
All right, fine.
Very
Well,
good.
let's just launch into it, boys.
Let's get stuck in.
How's the signal on your end? Is it can we continue or is it too laggy? Should we drop the live feed?
No, not bad at all, cuz. Let's just get stuck, you know.
In?
Yeah, it's fine on mine.
All right, fine. Well, boys, I think we're kicking off with Kamala interview. Came out like a bit over a week ago now. She sat down on CNN's Dana Bash with her and Morty. You boys get a chance to sit down and watch it?
I did, cuz. I did indeed.
Yeah, all 3 parts. What's that
All
about?
3 parts.
All 3 parts.
Heavily edited.
Yep.
Yeah, scripted.
I get the sense that it was scripted as all fuckery.
Mm.
It's and it was a bit of a puff piece. Let's be honest.
Buff piece.
And it was still
Yeah.
trash after all that
Yeah.
scripting. Like, surely
Yeah.
the writers could have done better than that. Waltzy
Yeah,
had a
man.
shocker.
Yeah, he did have a shocker.
Let's just go through it step by step, boys. So, opening question, question 1, day 1, what will you do in office? It's the age-old question. I swear everyone gets asked this question, so it's about as easy as they come. Extremely easy
Yeah.
to prepare for. What do you think of a response?
Well, firstly, she's already in office. She is the Vice President of the United States. So let's be honest, she's already in office. I don't know. There wasn't. For me, I thought it was a bit weak.
she didn't really come out with. She actually had to be prompted by Dana. She went in and said like, "Oh, I really want to strengthen the middle class. I want this new way forward." And then she's like, "The last decade we've been like getting more and more divided." And then even Dana, as much as she loves Kamala, she was like, "Just to be clear though, you've been in office for the last nearly 4 years. So when you say last decade," she's like, yes, but last decade I mean one particular president." I'm like, what does that mean?
It just, yeah, I think you're right. She's been in office for a long time now. She is the vice president. I think it would have been a better stance to come out. That's your opening statement. First interview you've done as you're running for president. You lay down like one of your best policies just to start off with. Just go, this is what I'm going to do. Bang, lay it down. Good start. None of that happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, even the policy she did settle on, she had already backtracked on previously.
Yeah. Fracking. What was the other one?
Fracking. Immigration or something.
Yeah.
We'll get into that, boys. The flip-flopping, that's a contentious issue.
You don't like the flip-flopping, because...
Question 2, we get
get
economy and cost of living question. Dana says that the economy is now worse since she's been in office, her and Biden. What are you going to do to get the economy back on track? And again, we see a bit more wishy-washy stuff. She does say that she's capped the insulin cost at $35 for seniors.
Yeah.
I've heard that may not have been thanks to her. I think Trump had a few words about that on Theo's podcast. But she did point to that. So regardless, I think that's a pretty good thing. I did hear them say sort of capped annual cost of medicines to $2,000. I don't know actually if that's a real thing, but that would also be pretty decent for seniors, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but the T's and C's behind that would have to be pretty astronomical, you'd think.
What are the T's and C's? Because
well, you can't just go, the cap for a yearly pension is only going to be $2,000. Some pensioners are going to have a lot more medication required than another one.
Yeah, the blanket cap.
Yeah, it's not going to be a blanket cap.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there because she goes into the tax credit for $25,000 for first-time home buyers, and then Dana does rightly ask her, "Why haven't you done this already?"
Yeah.
Yeah, Dana had her moments. Fair play. She got a lot of heat, but I think she did usher her along throughout the interview. But I didn't think she did a horrible job. Everyone's saying she should be fired on the spot. Killed. I thought she was alright.
Stoned, public stoning. Good old way. Alright, now she goes into, then she doubles down on her questions and says, what are your actual key policies that you're going to be coming in and, implementing in office? This is where she actually says, let's get some specifics. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
And she goes into the Green New Deal. I don't really understand what the Green New Deal is. I just know that she said she wanted to ban fracking in 2019, then she switched in 2020. Dana did push her a little bit for that. So why did you switch? And she's like, my values haven't changed. Doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes very little to no sense whatsoever. So
it's a pretty good answer though. Like, I've been the same from day one. Like, if you're gonna attack me personally, I've always worn my heart on my sleeve. It's like, that's fair enough. But why did you change?
Why did you change for?
Look, if you want to have a go at my character.
I'm still the same old Kamala.
Yeah. Nothing's changed.
And she goes into immigration, record border crossings during Biden. And then she said that they did try to pass a bill for 1,500 more boots on ground on the border. But apparently DTs didn't sign it. I was meaning to fact check that, didn't get around to it, but she threw that one out there. Thoughts?
So
but DT didn't sign it.
Apparently DTs blocked that. I don't know when, I don't know how, but they wanted to get 1,500 more personnel on the border And apparently that's what she's just throwing out there.
Okay.
When they say that there was record low numbers of border crossings.
Record border crossings, as in high.
Yeah, as in high.
Oh, record high. Oh, because I remember
high.
yeah, as high as they were.
she
As
came
high
out and
as
said
they
that
have
there
ever
was,
been.
there was like illegal, those numbers were down, and then JD was saying that it's because they just let them all in through the actual border. So
Yeah, they were like flying them in.
Yeah. They
that'll
were cutting the
pan
gates
out.
open and just letting them wander on through. Have
So
at it.
yeah, there wasn't anything illegal about those border crossings. They just beamed them in.
Yeah.
Then she said, Dana rightly said, you know, Kamala, you've been flip flopping on issues here, Green New Deals, immigration. How should voters see these changes? Have you developed as a person? She gives her like a nice multi-choice option. Like, have you just
Yeah.
grown as a person? You know, are these just signs of changing times? And it's really like you're just a fireside, comfy, sitting on the couch sort of chat. And then Kamala says, you know, my values haven't changed, reiterates all that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Then we move on to Israel Hamas, hot button topic. And
is.
this is actually quite interesting because obviously the pro-Palestine movement's pretty big in the US, and that's kind of like a left-leaning democratic sort of push there. So I feel like this was quite a tough one for her because she said, "Are you going to withhold shipments / weapons to Israel?" Because that's what a lot of these pro-Palestine people have been saying. Didn't really push her too hard, and
No.
but I thought it was a good question to have in there. What were your thoughts on that, boys?
Yeah, look, I think there's not a lot that she can say at this point in time, unfortunately. There's just
Yeah,
not much,
can't she
and I
just-
think as a reporter they can't actually say much either because it like we'll probably get to it later on in the pod, but there's not much you can do over there right at this point in time. So I think the Palestine-Israel conflict is a tough question to get asked for anyone. So yeah,
Well, she did the exact same response as Keir Starmer, which was just essentially two-state solution. We
Yeah.
have to get a deal done, get those hostages.
That's the best, safest answer.
yeah, but that's everyone
both
says the
sides.
same thing. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
We need
just
a
a
ceasefire.
script. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's just stop killing each other.
yeah.
No specifics, but she did say she's got unwavering support for Israel. So those weapon shipments ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
No surprises.
All right, then we turn our attention onto Waltzy. Enter the waltz.
Oh, Walty. This was a shit show. This was an absolute
Jesus.
fucking shit show. It was actually tough to watch. I gotta be
Yeah.
honest. I was just cringe.
I had to skip his
On
parts.
the
I'm
edge.
not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You couldn't even watch it.
I can't watch it. The sun part, I
Yeah.
was just like,
Yeah.
I'm not watching this. Like, I'm so done with this.
Yeah, it's like, look,
Yeah.
my grammar's not always correct. Sometimes they say I
Yeah.
served in wars. Sometimes they say I didn't.
Yeah, my wife corrects me all the time. Like,
Oh, right,
"Mate,
yeah. Like, you did. Yeah. Sometimes they say I served 20 years in the forces. But in reality, my wife tells me that no, you didn't. But I get my grammar incorrect. She's
I'm
like,
always in trouble for
"What
that sort of stuff.
the
It's not even your grammar.
It was an absolute shit show.
Straight up lying. I'm
Yeah.
always
Straight
in
up
trouble.
lying to my face. But he went for the, like, he was really leaning into the kind of that, like, kind of Midwesterner sort of,
Yeah, of
plain
course.
English talking,
Yeah.
guy.
It's
Everyone's
between him
mate.
and JD trying to fight for the middle class. So they need to really play that.
Is really leaning into that.
Even Kamala,
and-
when she's like, when she heard the news, I was cooking up bacon for the family. People were asking me,
Yeah.
"Can I please have some
Yeah.
more bacon?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that in
Yeah.
a sec, actually. That was ridiculous. Then, apparently this guy, Waltzy's been done for booze behind the wheel, 1995. They bring that out of the closet just 30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's e-
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So he got put away for drunk driving. His there's something about IVF stuff. I don't really know what the big deal with that was, but that's seemingly a growing problem. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
why
he
that's an
lied
issue.
about the contraception or something. Was that point?
Another grammar slip.
Yeah, that was just straight up grammar slip. He didn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't meaning what he was saying because his wife.
His wife
corrected
was
it
on him
all.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Walty, but to be honest with you, having Walty there did allow Kamala to just take some of the heat off her. Not like she was really getting pressed, but I think that's what she was trying to do. But the overall like impact of that just kind of weakened her whole
I agree.
view.
Yeah.
It really took away from her like kind of strength as a leader.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and obviously you're running to become the next president of the United States. Big role, probably one of the biggest roles in the world. You got to be sitting there thinking, "This is my VP right beside me." I know she was putting on a brave face and smiling while he was having a chat, but surely she is thinking, "This has got to be hurting my campaign right about now."
Yeah, well, I don't know if he can come out being super strong about his points, because then it kind of like overshadows Kamala. So he's kind of in a tough spot where he can't be super brash. Like if you took a JD approach, they'd be like,
But JD
"Why
does
is-"
take that sort of approach.
Yeah, but he matches Trump's energy.
I
If
agree.
he came
But
out with
Multi doesn't match Kamala's energy, I don't feel.
Yeah, they're both just wishy-washy, just
Yeah.
sitting there trying to be family
Oh, well, then
oriented.
in that way, they do match each other's energy. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of just like, I'm just gonna keep it simple, not try and overshadow her, and just like
Yeah.
say what I need to say. And
Yeah.
now they both just look as bad as each other.
Because Kamala
Yeah.
didn't really have a lot of strength in her convictions and wasn't putting really clear points forward and wasn't really running the show there. It was almost like she was always just on the defense, like trying to say as little as possible and wasn't really on the front foot and trying to deliver her, like what she wasn't like pushing to get as much out there. She was just saying the bare minimum to get through the interview. That's what it felt like. She wasn't there to communicate big ideas and things that she's been working on. She was there
Yeah.
just to get through the questions and get it done, with minimal damage.
It's the first interview as well, fully scripted, fully edited. Like, I just don't know how they settled on that.
I tend to agree.
Then we go on to, we start to wrap it up with, they ask, how, they turn their attention onto Biden, and they do make a comment about her thoughts on leadership, saying it's based on who you build up, not beat down. Fair enough. And then she paints this story about her sitting down with her nieces, frying up pancakes, bacon.
Beautiful story.
They're
Sounds
asking
pretty
her auntie for a bit more bacon. She's like, yeah, just a sec. Setting up the puzzles in the living room. Sun's just coming up. Everyone's on coffees. Beautiful day
Birds
out somewhere,
chirping.
wherever the hell they are. Maybe Washington.
Yep.
And birds are chirping away, and then they just hear the landline ring.
Oh no.
Who could that be? I think it's old, another one of the aunties calling in. But there it is, Uncle Biden.
Yep. Big
You
jelly
be.
on the other line. He's got something to say. That's for sure. He's got something to say.
And that's when her whole world changed in that moment.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's obviously a bunch of BS, but it was a nice picture, nice little image.
That's very wholesome.
I'm sure it resonates with a few Americans.
I love it how she's like, first off, I asked how he was. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
That was number one priority right there.
His health is my number one priority.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure
Yeah.
it is.
Then they talk about the legacy of Biden. What's he leaving behind? She
What
said
is he
that-
leaving behind? In reality,
This
boys,
is one
what
where
do
you
think
really
he-
wanted some strength.
Yeah.
You wanted some key dot points that they could edit and clip and put out there
Yep.
onto social media or whatever. But
Yep.
they said essentially three things: investing in US infrastructure and industry.
Yeah.
Don't know. I feel like you could say that about anyone.
Yeah. Without the numbers, I don't think it's a very, very common.
Yeah. You can find
Number
any way to
two.
back that up.
Bring alliances back and grow alliances.
Mhm.
He has strengthened the UN kind of stance. I'll give him that.
Mm. Three wars started while he's in office.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I, mean,
no, I agree.
I don't know if you can
As
just
I
correlate that
think,
to Biden.
I think you put it straight down to Biden. 100% Biden.
It was his watch, and
3 wars.
The US has a very far reach. 3 wars started under his watch.
Yeah. It would
Disappointing.
never happen. That's right.
And the other thing, just on that point, when you're talking about alliances, I think a really important point for any sort of leader, especially of the US, is to be able to maintain those alliances and fly overseas and sit down with these leaders. And I just really can't see Kamala sitting down with Putin and having any sort of meaningful conduct.
It's funny you said that. Did you see the interview with Putin?
I did see the interview with Putin.
What
That's
happened
very
there?
funny. Is Putin endorsed Kamala as the next president. I feel like it's KGB mind games, if I'm being perfectly honest. I
Yeah.
feel like,
Yeah.
Putin and Trump have got on the line. It's like, well, Putin, if you endorse Kamala, all the people that hate Putin out there that may have supported you might flip sides or not vote altogether. But
Yeah.
he has come out and said that he believes that Kamala is a strong leader, and that's about it.
He was laughing when he said it.
Yeah, he was
The
laughing
whole-
when he said
The whole
it.
crowd burst out laughing. He's like, of course I support Kamala.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
a phenomenal leader.
Yeah.
And he's like looking at us like laughing.
So, I feel like for Putin, okay, there's two ways of looking at this. You've got, is Putin just actually telling the truth and going, well, Kamala's going to be good in there because she ain't going to do shit. She ain't going to put sanctions on Russia. She ain't going to do anything to us. Or is it mind games to, possibly hurt Kamala's chances at the presidency?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think, I don't actually know how strong the relationship between Putin and Trump was, besides what Trump says. So, I think the safest bet would be to get Kamala in.
No, that she's going to be
But-
a kind of weaker leader or a more passive leader than what Trump would be.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I think
But-
Putin just loves the chaos. He loves it. He's the
Throws a
sort
few
of guy that
grenades
just,
in and just see how we
Yeah.
go.
yeah, he's just on the sidelines, tripping him
what
up.
we could start.
Let's get
And
Kamala
it
in.
was.
Him and Cigar parked up on the booze.
Just watching it all unfold.
So
It
yeah,
does make
that's,
you
I think
think,
that's
though.
a big issue. Yeah, I
It
think
does make you think.
no one will keep Putin in check like Kamala.
Yeah, she'll crack the whip.
She definitely cracked a rib.
I really don't see her ever flying into Moscow. She'll send one of her lackeys. I can't possibly see her Air Force One touching down Moscow, going into the Kremlin. If she
Yeah.
really does hit the fan, I would hate to think of her sitting down in those big military boardroom meetings or big high stakes discussions. You've got Putin there, you've got Xi Jinping.
That's where you need JD in.
That's what
Yeah.
you need, boots on the ground, JD, just sitting there, fired up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes in hot.
It's actually
Exactly.
a good segue into that JD interview, to be fair.
Yeah, let's move on. I think, but overall impressions was extremely softball interactions with softball interview, giving multi-choice, not pressing for answers, having the dual Harris-Waltzy combo took away a lot of strength from Harris, and having this whole edited thing. And just my overall impression was that she didn't really want to tell us anything.
No, I agree.
All right, move on to
It was-
JD.
JD, fired up.
Did you see the
He
other?
was-
So JD's come out on. So first off, the Fox interview, but then he had the same CNN interview
Yeah,
with
he had
Dana
Dana.
as well.
Mm.
So you
Have you seen
compare.
that one?
Is that what I watched the
No.
whole thing last night?
No.
Yeah. He gets
It
absolutely
was
rorted
a
by
bit
Dana.
of a different sort of interview, if you could be honest. Like how she was treating JD compared to how she was talking to Kamala and Waltzy.
Yeah.
JD got put through the
I don't
fire.
know.
As per usual.
Dana is talking like an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, she was very bitter. Let's just be
Extremely
honest.
hostile,
She's
challenging
not
him
very,
on little
very-
points,
Yeah,
like interrupting him, cutting in, and it's just her and JD first off. So he's got nowhere to hide, and it's just he's got fired up Dana just on his case.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
JD cops it. But yeah, it was good seeing him sit down with the Foxies and
I agree.
talk through it.
Yeah, a good home base.
They're like, what do you got to say?
It
And
is-
they just love him as well.
Yeah,
Tell us more, JD.
they weren't letting him off just willy nilly though. Like he was hitting hard. He was hitting hard on a lot of points. It does seem like they're both really trying to nail down that middle class at the moment. And going
Yeah.
with I think just like it seems to be a very populist approach, even from both sides as well, Trumpy and from Kamala, just going for the straight, like Trumpy backtracking on IBF, Kamala backtracking on fracking. It just seems to be, I don't know.
Racing to the middle is what they call it, and everyone's trying to not say anything too incriminating to upset the middle.
Yep.
And just try to make everything nice and family friendly. Everyone's pro family. Everybody
Yep.
wants growth of the economy. Everyone wants more jobs. Just saying all the same shit because ultimately they're trying to tailor to those like the big swing states like Pennsylvania.
It's the Rust Belt.
Yep.
The concern
Straight
is
to us,
that
but
yeah, it's like low research voting where people have just snapped up headlines. No one's really watched a full interview or taken a deep dive, and they just use that because they're so fucking busy as it is. They don't have time to do all this research. We're obviously doing.
Yep. Yep.
And then when it comes to voting, they're like, I saw a couple of good headlines, and then that's it.
yeah. I think getting Tulsi and fucking RFK as well, just the old
Yeah,
Democrat
that was big.
icons to side with him as well is
Yeah.
It's
You
quite
guys watched
big.
Tulsi's Fox segment as well.
I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah.
Was it good?
It wasn't bad.
Okay.
So she
It's worth a watch?
really, it's worth a watch. Tulsi is such a strong leader and speaker. She's got, she's extremely well spoken and confident, and the way her main emphasis was concerned about world wars and peace. So she thinks that kind of what I was saying before, that the sitting down with foreign powers, Kamala would be a terrible candidate for that. She had an ice cold take saying that Kamala will lead the US into war to make the weakness and insecurity she feels and try to project strength.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's a big call.
Huge
I
call.
know.
I like the call.
That's a huge call.
It could be an interesting.
Jesus.
Just
it'll be interesting
gloves
to see how
off,
it works
bare
out,
knuckle.
but- Very
Tulsi
big call.
coming in hot.
Yeah, she wasn't
That might be-
happy about the
that'll-
Arlington
that'll be
Cemetery
worth a watch.
Memorial, where Kamala wasn't there or something, but Donald Trump was there in droves, and he spent a lot of time with the families, which was, 13 people died from the Afghan withdrawal catastrophe, and she was just kind of emphasizing that. It's kind of like how Obama refused to go after Al-Qaeda in Syria. So, yes, that's her primary concern, which is foreign policy and meeting with foreign powers. So having Tulsi on board, I don't know how much of a swing she has, but
I
she
think it would
does
be a good
have
swing.
a lot of strength. Yeah.
It would be a decent swing. Yes. I think there's also the problem, even though, and this is what I found interesting with that JD interview, and obviously it is from JD, but even that being said, is that you've got Trump coming out and having, even though he's backtracking on a few of these stances, It's actually getting policies in place as to why it's better going that way. Where when Kamala is backtracking on certain policies, gun repossession, anti-fracking, she just doesn't have a policy set in place to support her decision on backtracking.
Agreed.
Yeah, she just backtracks for the sake of backtracking. Just like,
Yeah.
oh, things change.
But no
It's like,
policy,
there's-
no policy in
there's no
place. When
reason.
Trump puts that policy in place.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I may have said this before, but this is why it's changed.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point.
yeah.
I did see Lexi Freeds sit down with Trump as well. You guys catch that one?
I saw it out there, but I haven't had a chance to actually watch it. Did you get into it?
Another good watch.
It was a pretty good watch. Actually, you'll be happy to know that the old UFOs and JFK got brought up.
Well, actually,
Oh,
And lumped in.
Beautiful.
Lumped in.
They're all lumped in with the
All
files.
lumped in. Yeah.
Beautiful.
same video.
That's what you want.
Lex was like, when are we gonna finally see the UFO files and the JFK files? And Trump's like, well, I've released a bit of JFK stuff, and I'll be sure to release UFO and JFK files. So, one of the same
Used to
file.
Yeah.
They'll be coming out.
Those
I'll
files
be
will
doing
be
the
coming
live
out
scroll
no,
through.
no time. That'll be quite good, actually.
Yeah, that'll be big. It was literally just like, will you release the files? And Trump's like, of course I'll release the files. It's like, okay.
That's a good clip.
That was a big step away from
Sure.
that one.
My question is, JD's obviously doing a million interviews a day.
Yep.
Doing CNN, doing Fox, bouncing around the place, always in the hot seat. And I have been hearing whispers that DTs might be thinking at RFK as switch over for him as the vice. All right,
You just lost
you
guys.
there, cuz? We'll give him a sec.
You just dropped off. You're hearing whispers that there's going to be a switchover. We got True Cousins.
Here he is.
Jeez.
You there, cuz?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Laptop test
I'm
is
hearing whispers that they might be switching out our boy JD into with RFK.
Why would they switch
Okay.
that though? Aren't they pretty much the same age?
Well, RFK, that'd be a wild card. First off, Trump and Kennedy.
Is this boots on ground US or?
This
Are
is
these
boots on
whispers
ground
coming?
US. This is late news. This could be final hour switch ups. But I wanted to get your take on it, boys. Would that be something you support, or should they stick to their guns? They've come this far with JD. Obviously, we love JD here, but RFK is obviously great in his own right. And to be fair, JD's got his whole career ahead of him. These are the last years of the candidate of RFK to really make a big difference. So there's also that argument as well.
I wouldn't be impressed. JD's done his time. He's earned his spot.
Do you think it would be?
Million interviews
do you-
he's done.
Do you think it would show a weaker stance from Trump if he did do that though?
Possibly.
I think you could easily sell the whole. It's his last chance. Let's bring him in.
Try and get some
There's an
sympathy
angle
votes
there.
for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on, guys. Let's do it for
Yeah.
the Kennedys. That could be
Yeah.
a good way to sell it. But JD is
But you-
pretty polarizing.
Yeah. Yeah.
RFK, it's a lot easier to sell him.
And he has done
Sweet
his
love.
time as well.
Yeah. So.
The
look,
fight
I
up
don't know.
JD can upset a lot of people. When Dana was like, JD, I just think it's untoward to criticize veterans. I'm just like, I've never criticized veterans, alright? I am a veteran myself, Dana.
I've gone to war for
Oh
this country.
God, to war. Yeah, he was fired up. He was definitely fired up.
I don't know. I think it's a late game switch up would be pretty interesting. I think that as much as I'd love to see Tulsi, I'd much prefer Tulsi. I think Tulsi would be a great VP as well. But I think that the strongest argument would be RFK because it's his last. He can really get 2 more terms out of him, and then that's it. So that's why I think a late switch up wouldn't be completely off the cards. It would be very interesting if that happened. But then you look at people like Vivek, and like he's still getting the job done. Trump will give him a great position in his cabinet. Vivek's come out and he's got this. He's just made this movie with him and Tony Robbins about like child slavery in US. It's kind of like the Sound of Freedom themed movie that's just come out. So Vivek's out there, and even though he didn't really get make a lot of headway in his campaign, he's still doing a lot of good work, and the people love him, and he's got his whole career ahead of him. So these young guns like him and JD they're going to be around for a long time.
JD's not going anywhere.
JD's around for the long haul. That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, so
I
it'll be
do like
interesting.
JD. What do you guys think about the old ABC interview coming up?
What's on?
The debate between the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, when is that?
That's next week, right?
Next week, yeah. Yeah.
Just never ends.
It might be. I might watch that one live, boys. To be fair, that'll be a pretty decent interview, I think.
I think it's going to
Yeah.
be similar to
The first one.
Biden. Yeah, it's just going to be you backtracked on this, you did this. They're both kind of just on the deep, like just personal attacks at each other. No one really setting forward their own
Yeah.
policies and how they're going to make things better. It's just going to be like, you had the worst. No, you had the worst. It's just going to be the same thing. So, but I'm interested to see how Kamala actually handles that kind of pressure. Because I don't think they've actually ever met. Is that what they said in that interview? They've never actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've never
but-
actually had any direct interactions.
Yeah. It could be interesting. That. Very interesting.
Under the lights.
But have they released the ground rules, like any particular changes to the first debate?
Yeah, they have. Oh, I'm not sure. So, they will not get the questions beforehand and are allowed no notes. So, do you think that's probably going to hinder Kamala?
Big time.
She's like, no notes, no editing videos. So this will be her first one, obviously
No
coming out.
waltz.
So it's definitely good. What's that?
No
No
waltzy
waltzies
come.
either. No waltzy ain't coming in. And so,
I'd love
and
to see a
then,
Walsy JD debate.
yeah, that would actually be pretty cool. Walter JD.
Co-made.
It would not go well. Show me your 20 years in the service, mate.
Yeah, JD's had about 20 Bud Lights coming in hot.
But then there will be no audience, and interestingly, the two candidates cannot respond to each other, only the moderator. So they can't talk to one another.
Oh, that's a huge one. That's going to really
Yeah.
end it, Trumpy.
That's
I
kind of
think
what
that's
they
going
did
to
with
affect Trumpy.
Biden. They weren't
Hey.
really talking directly to each other at all.
I think they're
Like,
going to
they-
put, like, if
They had
they,
a few side
What's your
hustles.
what's your fucking handicap, cuz?
I've seen you swing.
You ain't no 20 on the course, cuz. So no interactions whatsoever. Or the moderator will stop it straight away. Cut the mics up.
Yeah.
So it's ABC. So it's not really
ABC.
enough.
Yeah, ABC.
Fair enough.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
interesting.
that's going to be the one. That'll be the centerpiece of next week's episode, lads.
Yeah, that'll be a good app.
Yeah.
Well,
Finger on the pulse.
I guess keep your finger on the pulse, lads. I did want to touch a couple of side.
Finger on the pulse, let's.
I did want to touch on Iran while we're here.
Might as well. Let's
Bring it
go.
in.
Let's go, cuz.
So I was listening to our boy Mike Baker, arguably my favorite Joe Rogan guest,
Yeah.
because he just comes in all things world news. Apparently, he's got a podcast called the President's Daily Brief. That actually sounds dope. And yeah, it's like ex-CIA. Is just all things, global politics, and world order sort of stuff. And anyway, the question is it's been how long now since Israel took out Iran's
month.
president? It's been like a good month.
Mm.
So they first off, why hasn't Iran retaliated on Israel yet? And that's a question that everyone keeps asking Baker and asking me as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
But do you guys have any ideas why is it taking so long? And is there a retaliation ever going to happen?
I think so. I think you might see one. I think Israel is very, very well defended. Number one, they are heavily defended. Like Iran did send some rockets in, but their Iron Dome system just took care of it very, very quickly. I don't know what Iran is waiting for, to be fair. I can't answer.
Oh
it,
yeah, I don't think Iran's very well positioned with that drone attack. They're like what 2,000 k's away from Israel. I think yeah, I think they're waiting to get their boys in Lebanon, Yemen on side to stage an attack rather than attack themselves and risk getting flanked by the US.
But that's the thing, is that if they do an attack, then does the US step in again? Like,
Yeah, I think
the
if
US
Iran-
probably will step in, and then
Yeah.
all hell breaks loose. It's a World War III all over it. Like it
Exactly.
just will be. So I can't imagine. Like Iran has to be weighing up the options, going, if we do attack Israel and we get a few of the boys that America definitely doesn't like on our side, then we're just setting ourselves up for absolute annihilation.
And I think there's benefit in kind of just having that threat just imminent. You kind of like the psychological effects for Israel. They're like, we could be attacked any second now by one of Iran's counterparts or Iran themselves. So it's like they're sitting waiting in the wings. There's benefit to that as well. Yeah, it's
And
tough
so
one. I think most likely they're going to go through one of their set up a proxy and go through.
I didn't think Israel got the Iranian president. I thought they got the
No,
Hamas
so-
leader.
They
Yeah.
he was there for the newly elected president of
Yeah.
Iran, Masood,
Yeah.
and they got the Hamas leader into Iran.
Of that. Yeah.
Ishmael Haniyeh. So this guy, they said the circumstances first off showed that Mossad, the Israel like Secret Service military division, what they actually did there was pretty high end, like in terms of just like intel. So they got him in an actual safe house. So this is like a Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps compound, so which is like a highly fortified compound, safe house, where this guy Ishmael Haniyeh was in there, and the fact that they were able to get in there and know his movements and step in and take him out with that airstrike when he was at the top floor, which was like an office or something. So he said behind that, it shows like the depths of their abilities to get these assets in. They had to set up the explosives. They had to have a trigger in there to say when Haniyeh was actually up there. And this is all in the depths of Tehran. So it shows like the degree of infiltration, firstly. And Mike Baker was saying that he thinks that Iran could be extremely freaked out about how heavily infiltrated they actually are by Mossad.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
Yeah, I think that's why they'd go through Lebanon. Iran wouldn't risk themselves with a direct attack. I think they'd definitely flank through Iraq, Yemen, one of their counterparts.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the exact same thing they were getting that guy out there. Drone strikes on the top floor shows that these guys are pretty rock solid. So if you retaliate, who knows if, like, first off, they'd probably be aware of any sort of retaliation plans way before they hit them, and then who knows what the counter strike would be from Israel for that. So that
Very
was
true.
his argument, is that it just shows very heavily infiltrated Iran Iranian intel. So another thing he makes is with something about when they sent off the barrage of drone strikes onto Israel. Apparently, within 15 minutes, Israel had sent in low jets straight back over to them. So they know these strikes before they even send them. They've got advanced intel. And ultimately as well is that I think they're most concerned about just US retaliation as well.
Yeah. The IDF is completely backed by the US. Like their jets, like Iran has no military capacity compared to Israel. Like they would get easily clean swept. They need to bring in other allies, and then even if they do, Israel brings in the US. Like that's game. So.
Well, Iran, who would you be bringing in? Like you could bring in a China or a Russia, which could shake
Bring in a
it up a bit.
If they bring in one of the big boys, then that's a shake up. But
It's the US definitely step in, and then we have World War III. So there's a few problems there for Iran at the moment.
I don't know what Saudi does in all this, because they're kind of right in the heart of it.
Well, they just supply the weapons, bit of cash, keep
I
their
think
hands
they
clean.
kind of just keep on the sidelines. I was looking into who they're really allied with, and they're kind of setting up talks with Iran, but they're not impressed with how much they're fighting with Israel. They want to keep it peaceful. It's they've really set themselves up quite well.
Yeah, they're just getting cash in for all these weapons. And,
just
you know,
cash out on it all.
yeah.
Yeah, for them it's just
It's good to see.
cash cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not really too fussed either way. Well, anyways, yeah, I don't know.
What's your
I think
thoughts,
long and short of it is that we're not going to see any retaliations anytime soon.
Yeah.
You don't think anytime
I
soon?
agree. Do you think before we have the next bolt?
Yeah, within our lifetime, yes.
Yeah,
No answer.
well,
No
That's
comment.
focus. No comment at all, 'cause-
no comment. That's a tough one, guys. It's a hardball question. Chaps, let's get on with it. Sports.
Sports. Man, what a time to be alive for sports. What a
That's
time to
segment.
be alive. It is our favourite segment on this show. That's very true. Well, should we just kick it off? AFL into the finals.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's
What do you
start
see,
off with
guys?
the AFL finals. Well, all right. So you had number 2, number 3 in Port Adelaide and Geelong facing off.
Yep.
Everyone picked probably a Port win at home in Adelaide for Port Adelaide, and Geelong just absolutely mauled them.
Yeah,
Mauled
1
them,
for the 8 to
mauled them, mauled
54.
them. Yeah, it's
Jesus.
just straight up mauls. It wasn't an elimination final, so Port still have a chance to redeem themselves. But big statement by Geelong there, I feel.
Yeah.
Very, very big statement by Geelong. And then you had an elimination final between, who was it today? You had sorry boys, I forgot
Bulldogs
who
Hawthorn.
it was. That's right, Bulldogs Hawthorn. So Hawthorn coming in from mid-season, absolutely near the bottom of the table,
Yeah.
going nowhere, and then you just get these young lads start standing up. They just stand up. Oh
final
boy,
fever.
like you just see them. They just they pull themselves together, and these lads, they're just superstars. In reality, they are superstars. Like they're young, they're hungry. I think Hawthorn are probably the most dangerous team out there at the moment.
Yeah.
No
nothing
one wants to
lose.
play them. No one wants to play them. Like, there was a photo of I think it was Giovanni or Gunston, the night before the finals game at the pub, just sipping on a pint, and someone takes a photo of him, and he just stares him down while he's taking a photo of him. Like these boys are just all out for it. They want it. They're hungry. If you get a chance, watch some of their interviews. They're brash. They've just got that star appeal. So I would worry about
Hawthorn.
Hawthorn. Yeah, tomorrow we've got, the Lions coming in against Carlton. So
Yeah, how do you see that one?
Carlton scraping in by the skin of their noses, sort of thing. Very,
they're
very
in
lucky
eighth.
to be where they are. Yep, they are. At home for the Lions. Lions are very, very strong at the Gabba. I can't imagine they shouldn't have any problems. But that being said, Carlton had a massive injury sort of list, and they're getting a fair few players back in for this final. So could be an interesting watch. I tip the Lions to win. I tip them comfortably to win, just at home advantage. Gabba usually works well for them, but Carlton could throw a little spanner in the works there.
What's the
Alright.
wager, cuz?
Bookies have the Lions to win at $1.25.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You reckon the
Okay.
Swannies will be alright?
I think that'll probably be the most interesting game, I think.
Yeah.
Once again, Swannies do get a few injuries back as well, so they get Papley back. I think that Heaney's playing again, so pretty much got a full squad again.
Okay.
I think they probably beat GWS, but it'd be a good little Sydney prelim, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mind that. Pretty
Because-
prime time as well, 3:20.
Yeah, I'd head down to pub to watch that one, boys. It's a good
Yeah,
watch.
that'll be worth it.
That's a pretty
That'll
good
be a
tip.
decent watch. Yeah,
Don't mind
Yeah.
that call.
That's actually pretty good.
get down there. Get down there.
Well, thanks, guys. That was a pretty
Watch.
clean update. All right. Keen to see where that goes. What about NRL?
NRL, we're leading up to the finals. Big game, actually. Big game
for eighth.
for the 8th. Yeah, you got 4 of them battling it out.
Outside
Um,
chance, Raiders.
I don't think so.
Speaking of
Just for
lads.
points.
Yeah, I think
On-
try difference. They're gonna get.
I think they're going to get annihilated, but yeah, it should be interesting. It should be an interesting game.
they need something big.
They would need to win by like 150 odd, and for either Newcastle or St George to lose, I believe.
Yeah. Get that Raiders Dragons game on your left, Sydney GWS on your right, and
Just straight down the pub, cuz. Yeah, they'll have both games going. It'd be pretty good.
That could be.
I was impressed. I was impressed with you, Maxi, as well. F1 on the weekend.
I know, guys. Hey, I've been saving that.
You picked it?
Let's get it.
You picked
You know what I actually want to do, lads? Let's just share screen here and go back to our last episode, because I think we had some pretty hard calls coming out from Cuz, and it's not often that we finally get him on camera and catch him live in the act.
I'll eat my words there, cuz you were right. Run the footage back, cuz.
Wait, didn't you say ham?
No, guys, I've got it all on hard print right here.
It's hard print. Run the footage, cuz this ain't gonna break any YouTube sort of intellectual property rules, is it?
Yeah, I think we'll be alright, guys. Alright.
Run the footage, cuz. There we go.
Alright, let me just
Push.
turn these headphones off so we can hear. What's that?
Push play, cuz.
This way, so.
This is gonna be crazy loud again.
Alright, is that coming through?
There,
Did
push
used to
play.
do the same thing when he was getting overtaken when he was so dominant. It's
Yeah.
there'd be a few
Hey,
different
turn yours
things.
off.
And I do believe that to an extent it probably is the car, because the car is the most important thing. You could probably take any of those top 10 drivers out and put them in the other person's car, and if their car's quicker, with a bit of testing, they'll probably be just as quick, if not
Turn yours down.
at the same level as Verstappen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, because I am pretty keen for Monza. I just want to see Sharp win it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, outside chance Ferrari.
Nope,
Home turf.
no chance. Zero chance.
I don't know that.
Zero chance. There we go.
Yeah,
guys. I'd love to see it, but it's not going to happen.
I
I
actually put
reckon
him in my fantasy for Monza, so you know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, sure.
sure. The fantasy about that.
You're going ham. That's a bit-
Well done, Kez.
There it is. You got to turn yours off, Maxi. It's all echoey.
Put the headphones back on, Kez. There we go.
Didn't come through very well.
That was fine, Kez. But
That's
yeah, I was wrong. Absolutely wrong. It was good to see Leclerc win it, to be fair.
Charles takes it home. Huge win. Cleaned up. Pulled off the one stop.
Yeah.
Ballsy. Extremely ballsy. I wanted to get your take on that, because how come he's able to pull off the one stop and McLaren just off?
I don't know, maybe McLaren weren't just good enough on their tyres, I'm guessing. I think, looking back, Piastri, you know, McLaren did offer the boys a call to say, do you want to go longer? Piastri said no. I think these tyres are done. I think Leclerc could have been managing tyres, or the Ferraris just better on their tyres at Monza. It is ballsy to go a one-stop at Monza as well, so a fair play to Charles. I think if the roles were reversed, Piastri knew that Charles is going to go at one stop, he probably would have pushed for a one stop too. Whether or not Charles would have caught him, I don't think so. I think, you know, in their mind psychologically, they're thinking, well, this is a two-stop race. I don't want to get called out. We're in a winning position right now. Let's take the stop. Let's get out in front again. Don't let Charles try and undercut us. And that's the problem with being out in front. But yeah, Charles just said, fuck it, let's go for it. It's the only way we're going to get the win, so let's have a crack. There comes a point where, you know, if the front runner pits before you in second position or third position, and they pit before you, then you've got no chance to catch them up at you know, the 30 lap mark. So for Charles, it was an all or nothing and paid off.
Charles called me up and he said, you know, I did that for you guys.
Well, I appreciate
This
it,
is for the
'cause
fantasy.
this is, well, you still went ham for the fantasy, didn't you?
I went ham for my fantasy, to be fair. But, you know,
They do
my
like to see
gun
it.
is.
Yeah. Well, how do you see the rest of the season panning out for old Red Bull? I saw
Alright,
a
well,
little comment from Perez.
let's just paint the scene here before we get into Perez.
Yeah.
So, as for the
Okay.
points, we've got Stabs 303,
Yeah.
Norris 241, and Charles 217.
Yeah.
Who's got 217 or Charles?
Well, I don't even know why we've got Charles in the discussion here. Charles is
Outside
not
chance.
going to
Outside
win this
chance,
championship.
Chris.
There's no outside chance.
You going
Charles
on
is
record again,
not-
guys?
So I will happily go on record. I'm happy to go on record on this one. Charles is not going to win this season's championship. He just will not. He got very lucky. I think he had the home crowd. You know, he had the Tifosi behind him. It was, you know, everything went right for him. His car is not fast enough.
I think their
It will
engineers
be-
have finally sorted it out.
Well, you reckon they've just been
Their
calling
strategies are
behind
just-
the scenes?
Yeah.
Just, wait, no, can you
Dialed
start
them
early?
in.
I
If
don't
Charles puts
see.
away Azerbaijan this race, he could actually be stepping up to the plate.
If Charles puts Azerbaijan away this week, I will come on here and publicly go, Charles is an outside chance. But he will not win Azerbaijan, and he is not an outside chance of the championship this year. I can tell you that right now.
It's an outside chance.
You can send this video, get Charles back on the phone, send him the video and go, look, Cuz doesn't think you're going to do it. And I hope he does. I probably prefer Charles out of the three, to be fair. I like Charles,
Yeah.
but he ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it, Cuz.
Fair enough.
So I don't think
Impressed.
I think Norris is going to do it. I think
I
Norris.
think Norris is going to take it.
Changed
well,
your
look,
tune a lot from last week, because
I think that there is, if McLaren, this was the issue with this race, okay? If McLaren had proper team orders and they want the win, because, okay, McLaren now are leading the Constructors' Championship. They will win the Constructors' Championship. So they've got the Constructors' Championship. They're in lead.
Perez.
Thanks to Perez. Partly because of Perez, but they've got the Constructors' Championship. If they want to win the championship, they need to have more team orders. And I think, this wishy-washy, let's let them race sort of bullshit as long as they don't contact each other is not the way to win races. And you saw it with Red Bull. When Red Bull were winning with Vettel, with Verstappen, and, even when Ricardo was there as well, it was always, let the other one pass, they're fighting for the championship, you're not. So it is what it is. If you want to win championships, that's what you got to do. At the moment, McLaren have a problem where they have two very, very good drivers and two very, very good cars. And that first lap where Piastri got past Norris,
Yeah.
it cost Norris a place to shuttle.
So
So
dumb.
I think it wasn't very smart. I think if they managed it to and said Norris is out in front, Piastri, you just hold off Charles, they would have won the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't blame Oscar. He's like, fuck this, I'm going number one. He saw an opening and he took it.
He did, but ultimately look where they finished, 2 and 3. So it didn't work out for him.
Yeah. 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 Well,
Should be exciting
Yeah.
into the season anyway.
it's
Well,
shaping
it will
up,
be.
guys. It's
It
shaping
will
up
be.
this time.
It will be a good end.
What's the predictions for Azerbaijan? I'm obviously going Leclerc.
I think
Good.
Charles would be. Charles is my fave, but I think in reality, Norris should put it away. And
I
ideally,
would
Charles
say-
then Norris. But I think as is right. It'll be a Norris Piastri sort of situation.
Yeah, it'll be Norris or Piastri that win it. But honestly, at this point in time, though, I can't really predict the two of them. They're both in very similar cars, so I think it's going to be Norris or Piastri.
You can't predict much at this stage, guys.
I cannot, because that's very true. It's a hot season, guys. It's a hot season. I'm enjoying it though. It's finally you're finally after 3 years of just pure shit. Well, sorry. Well, yeah, 3 years of pure shit until the end of the season with Hamilton and Verstappen, and then just Verstappen winning. You finally have a season where it's like, you don't just have one dominant team winning it, where it was Mercedes or it was Red Bull. Now you have a few in the mix.
You got the shakeups.
Verstappen, yeah. And like Perez said to the interviewers, it was quite funny. He's like, oh, well, now Verstappen knows what it's like to be in my boat with the shitty car. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's good to see Verstappen's bitching and whining about the car as well.
Yeah. Like, you
Everyone
love to
has
see
that.
it. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Kicking tires, yelling at engineers.
He was not happy.
We've all
He
been
was
there.
not happy at all. We've all been there, cuz it's true.
Yeah, we've been there.
All right, chaps, let's wrap this up. You boys get it done.
I got it done, cuz.
And
I'll take the lead.
Judges,
Cuz. I'll
Actually,
take the lead
yeah.
on this one, cuz.
great book. Lead
It
us
was a
in this.
decent book. I actually quite liked this book as well. So I've noted a few things down for you boys, obviously.
lead the charge,
The
guys.
book-
Give us a bit of an overview. What happened?
The Book of Judges, alright. The seventh book. Alright, so we come in straight after the Book of Joshua. Now, we're not really sure, and I did a bit of a deep dive into this as well. Not really sure who wrote the Book of Judges. A lot of people believe it's Samuel, because obviously we lead on to the Book of Samuel after this.
Can I go, Ruth?
Sorry, we go Ruth, but it's a part of the whole Samuel sort of chapters.
Samuel
Yeah,
Saga.
Samuel Saga.
Okay.
Yeah, Samuel Saga. So we've come in, I believe we're in 1080 BC. All right. So we've come
Okay.
in. You're happy with that?
Sounds
The
good.
people are unfaithful to Jesus or Yahweh, as you'd probably put it in the Hebrew way.
Yeah, so Yahweh's just God, right? Just
It's Jesus. Yahweh is Jesus.
Jesus.
right.
The Son of God. So he therefore delivers them into the hands of their enemies. So there was a call for, obviously, judging, essentially, which is God putting out his rules. So what did you guys think of that?
Yeah, they needed someone to step in. It's
You
pretty
feel like they
chaotic
needed
after
someone to step
Joshua
Yeah.
passed. Yeah, it was kind of a lot
It's
going on.
essentially a story of 6 judges rising up out of the chaos because they keep forgetting to worship Yahweh, and they
Yeah.
keep going off, being left to their own devices. So they run through the
Yeah.
6 judges. So the first up is that guy Othniel. I kind of forget his story. What was his one?
So Neil, give me one sec, cause I've got it here. So, Neil. Sure, that's his name. How are you pronouncing
Yeah,
it?
Othniel. I
Othniel.
don't. Yeah, he was the first judge. Not very memorable. He did something.
No.
But he rose up, and then they descended into chaos again after his time. Like Israel had peace for a period of time. Then the next one's
Yeah.
a bit more memorable. Ehud.
Yeah,
who's
that's
the
right.
left-handed
Ehud.
guy with the sword.
Yeah.
And he goes up to the king of Moab.
Yeah.
King Eglon.
Yeah.
And he just straight up murks him with his sword. Does the old left-handed maneuver. 'cause
Gets
he
him
has the
sorted.
sword.
Yeah,
Lord
shanks him in the
sword,
gut.
Shanks in.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough
That's
one.
Yeah,
Tough way to go.
Just the old-fashioned bang.
very descriptive
Why
as well.
not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and stuff was sealed around the sword, locked it in.
Yeah.
So that was actually kind of dope. And then Israel saw peace for quite some time because King Moab got taken out thanks to Ehud.
Yeah. That's
Next
correct,
judge,
cuz.
Deborah.
No, we got Shamgar.
No, Shangara,
Yeah, Shamgar's a quick one.
What's that one?
He's the one that he killed the 600 Philistines.
yeah. Yeah,
Ox
he
goat.
got. Yeah.
That's
With
about
the
it.
what?
Like an ox goat. I think it's like a donkey jawbone. He just murks 600
Nah,
people
that's
with that.
Samson.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
an ox
Samson.
goat?
Yeah, actually, you're Samson. Yeah, that's
We're coming
Samson
up to
versus
Samson.
the Palestine.
Samson was,
yeah, we're coming
Samson
up.
was the best one. Yeah.
Okay,
Deborah
ox
Yeah,
goat
was
is just
so we
like-
got Deborah directing Barak, the army of captains, versus
Yeah.
Gibeon of Hazar. And then you go to Gideon versus
Wait,
Midian.
just stay on Deborah for a second.
Okay,
so-
well, Deborah.
So, the Sisera is the commander of King Jabbar of the Canaanites, and
Yeah.
there's some sort of debacle about. Apparently, she got the army to go up against him, but there was a prophecy that she was going to be the one that actually kills him. And she ended up killing Sisera, the commander, in his tent
Yeah,
with the tent
his
peg
captain,
straight through the
yeah.
temple.
Yeah.
Sisera goes to have a lie down. Deborah sneaks in and goes bang.
Yeah.
So one of the few times we actually have a woman doing anything of significance, not being a prostitute or something, so far.
Yeah. Pretty good, actually.
Like, have you guys
Stand
noticed? It's like it's been almost
And he's
exclusively men.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no real female call-outs. There's more to
Yeah.
come, though, apparently. I was looking into it. Deborah's the start of... There's only a handful, though, across the whole books. But, yeah, I think Deborah's pretty significant for that reason.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think shout out to Debs, got it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gets it done with the tent peg as well. Pretty brutal again.
The Battle of Tabor, obviously, pretty interesting. It would be interesting to see if we go into more of the Mount Tabor
Yeah.
battle.
What's that?
That's where she did it, at the Battle of Tabor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they sing a long song, the song of Deborah. Everyone sings their praises.
Yeah. And then we go into Gideon,
Yeah. Gideon, let's hear it.
Children of the East, versus Midian. That was a good one. What do you guys think of that one?
I wasn't sold on the whole fleece test situation.
What was the fleece test? They put
So
a
he-
fleece out in the cold.
Yeah, he
Like,
didn't
kinda-
really believe
yeah.
that God was real. He wanted to see it for himself, so he puts a fleece out. Said, "If you're real, let there be dew on the ground and the fleece dry." God does
Mhm.
it, and he's like, "Fair play." This time, let there be dew on the fleece and the ground dry. And he does it. And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah. The switcheroo.
Yeah.
So it's like, out of all the tests, you chose that.
But the first test was lighting the bush on fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It's kind
okay.
of Moses style.
But like,
Yeah.
surely
Go
like,
back a few
yeah,
books.
could have done a lot
Way
better
back.
than the fleece.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, out of all the miracles,
Yeah.
he chose that.
He chose that one.
But essentially,
Well-
God came to Gideon and said, "I want you to take out the Midian army,
Yeah.
free up the Israelites from the Midians. You're going to be the one to do it." And he's like, "Well, the Midians are pretty tough. I just want to make sure you're the real deal, and I'm going to need some hard evidence that you are actually God before I launch into this tirade."
Yeah,
So
that-
he got some
yeah.
evidence and wasn't too happy with the evidence itself, but he got some evidence.
That
It
is
should
fair.
have been like,
That's fair.
arm me with like all this stuff, or like give me all these supplies. The fleece, come on.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then
we got
Gideon actually
Jephthah.
had 70.
Oh,
Gideon had
There you go,
70
guys.
sons.
70 sons.
70 sons.
Yeah. He
Did
had
he?
70 kids. You
Uh,
see that?
I don't think he did, cause
yeah, because I don't remember.
oh yeah, cause the next judge. Yeah, 70 brothers. No, he had 70. Yeah. There you go.
So he had.
Multiple wives.
Jeez, okay.
Concubines.
Was that for the 40 years of peace that he produced, or is that before?
Yeah, I think he was just enjoying himself. I think that was before. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
actually, probably a bit of both.
During. Yeah. And then you go to. What do we got next? We go to.
Just wrapping up
Jephthah.
Gideon though.
Okay, because you do the wrap ups, because you got more notes on Gideon.
Well, I thought it was quite interesting because he gets the army down to the Midianites, and how many punters did he have at the start?
400.
Too many, by God's count. So he took them down and he said, "There's too many men. Take them down to the water, and I'll thin them out." And so he thinned them out. Separate those that lap the water with their tongues as a dog laps from those who kneel down to drink. So that's the age-old way. And then he, with the 300 men that lapped, I'll save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Just let the others go home. So he cut the numbers from a few thousand down to a few hundred. And then sent those men in. So I do kind of like that. We see that quite a lot. God just raising the stakes.
Just making sure, what you said.
Making sure that there's good optics
Yeah.
on this and it actually looks
Yeah.
extremely dope.
Yeah, he seems to do his research quite well, actually, doesn't he? Good military background as well. It is interesting. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
So then they just launched in. Gideon and the 100 men with him reached the edge of the camp. They blew their trumpets and broke the jars that were in their hands. A sword for the Lord and for Gideon. And they just torched the place.
Yeah, got the job done. They did well.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair play to Gideon.
So then Gideon held rule for a number
40
of years. 40?
Yeah, 40 years of peace. That was with
40
Gideon.
good years. Yeah,
Yeah,
Is that Gideon?
that was Gideon.
that's Gideon. Yeah, 40 years.
Then he dies,
goes.
and then no sooner had Gideon died that the Israelites again prostituted themselves to the Baals. They set up Baal Berith as their god and did not remember the Lord their God. So immediately they go into chaos again.
Yeah, straight into
and you gotta
chaos.
You got to raise up a new judge.
Yeah, Jephthah. Is that how you're pronouncing it too, boys?
Jephthah?
Jephthah?
Is that how-
Interesting spelling.
So you just say soft J?
Yeah, soft J. Jephthah. Apparently,
Yeah,
that's
way.
how you pronounce it.
Jephthah? Okay.
Yeah, Jephthah.
I was wondering.
Versus the Ammonites. What are you taking that head? What's your thoughts there, cuz?
On the Ammonites?
Yeah,
With Jephthah?
yeah, with Jephthah.
Yeah, Jephthah really kind of... He went ballsy. So
What did he
He
do?
did.
he made a vow before going into battle. He said, "I'll sacrifice whatever comes out of my house next, if you bring me a win in this war." And out walks his daughter. Unclear about how he killed her, but yeah, he killed her. I don't
Got
really know what the rationale was behind that one.
So
Like,
he
you
kills
got
off
certain-
his daughter. Is that what
A
you're
certain
saying?
number of things in your house. Yeah, he said If you give me a win in this war, I vow to kill something that walks out of my house first.
Yeah.
His daughter just walks out.
Yeah, yeah. So,
another
like
tragedy.
the quote was, "And whatever comes out from the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the Ammonites shall be the Lord's, and I will offer it." So he's gone.
Who
He's
should-
gone.
Who should come out to meet him but his daughter dancing to the sound of tambourines. She was a
Yeah.
young child.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Like, how many living things can physically walk out of your house? Dumb vow.
Yeah.
But not impressed again.
So
But,
apparently,
yeah.
from this comes the Israelite tradition that each year the young women of Israel go out for 4 days to commemorate the daughter of Iftal the Gileadite.
Yeah.
Interesting, because he reigned for 2 months, weeping.
Yeah. It wasn't very long, but he did get the job done.
Yeah. Well, then what happened to him in the end? Held it for 6 years.
Yeah, out of 6 years.
Yeah.
Last.
Only 6 years in office. Yeah. Short tenure.
Short term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There wasn't too much to say about that one. Just a bit of a. Obviously,
Yeah,
he's
just-
a bit upset that the offer offers up his daughter, but crying away. But probably rightly so, I'm guessing.
Probably rightly so. All right, guys, let's wrap it up with Samson. Probably the best
Samson,
one yet.
here we go.
Final
Big
judge.
one. The big one. What are your thoughts on this one, guys?
Tell us about it, because
Well, Israel. We're pretty much just coming into today as well. Israel v Palestine. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, yeah.
set the scene.
Set the scene. This is a bit of a big one here, guys. So, give me a sec. I've got a few notes on this one. Give me 2 secs. So he was the last judge, and one of the last leaders who judged Israel before the institution of the monarchy. He is sometimes considered as an Israelite version of the popular Near Eastern folk hero, as embodied by the samurai can't even pronounce that, Gilgamesh. So that's where
Yeah.
you're coming in hand with your Gilgamesh, as well as the Greek Hercules. So I'm not sure. Obviously, he massacred the Palestine army with the donkey's jawbone after offending groomsmen at one of his wedding. What are your guys' takes on this one?
Well, before that, we have the birth of Samson. He comes into play, and
Yeah.
then we see him. I'm not sure what the significance of his birth was there. If you guys have any notes on that, I was more interested in the marriage scene and the lion.
Well, I
Um,
think the birth, for example, the birth though, I'm not sure if this is the case, but he is told to abstain from all alcoholic drinks. So do you reckon that's where it comes from for, a lot of the Middle Eastern countries now who do abstain from drinking alcohol? Do you reckon this is where it stems from his birth?
Wait, so why was he told to abstain?
Well, the angel of the Lord states that the Manoah's wife was to abstain from all alcoholic drinks, unclean
Yeah.
foods, and
That's how
her promised
Samson
child.
was born.
That's how he's
Yeah,
born.
His,
Yeah,
his mum was barren.
Yeah.
They said lay off the booze.
yeah.
Maybe that is.
Become
yeah.
pregnant.
So, do you think that's why they don't really drink alcohol in those?
Yeah, it could be.
Drink
Middle
no
Eastern
wine or other
states?
fermented drinks, and do not eat anything unclean. You will become pregnant and have a son whose head is never to be touched by a razor, because the boy is to be a Nazarite, dedicated to God
Yeah.
from the womb. He will
Yeah,
take
'cause
the
that-
lead in delivering Israel from the hands of the Philistines.
Yeah,
The unclean is the whole hoofed animal thing, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that feeds
It's a
into-
donkey. Yeah,
Yeah, could be, guys.
Yeah.
It's
But we do
interesting.
get that rule that you can't shave his head. So it's a bit of a
Mhm.
bit of a schluck sort of situation. Then we get Samson.
yeah.
It's a happy youth, adolescence.
Yep.
Then he goes
Yep.
down and he does something quite unpredicted, which was to marry a young Philistine woman.
Correct.
so marrying the enemy, a Philistine woman in Tibnah, and he married this lady. And there's this scene where he goes down. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, so that he tore the lion apart with his bare hands. So he's approaching a vineyard, and a young lion comes roaring at him, and he tears him apart with his bare hands, as he might have torn a young goat. But he told neither his father nor his mother what he had done. Then he went down and talked with the woman, and he liked her.
Yep.
He scooped out the hunt. Sometime later, when he went back to marry her, he turned aside to look at the lion's carcass, and in it he saw a swarm of bees and some honey. He scooped out the honey with his hands and ate it as he went along. So,
Well, he gives some to his parents as well.
yeah,
Interesting though. Interesting that
Interesting imagery.
Yeah. Just ripping the
scooping out
lion
honey
apart.
from the lion's carcass.
And then, what do you think
Milk and honey? I don't
the
know.
markers are from there? Yeah, I can't really figure that out. What
The
the sort
markers?
of well, I mean, is in like, you know, what's the I can't even think of the word I'm trying
What's
to
the
say right now.
significance of the
What's
lion?
the significance? Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, is it a throwaway to the milk and honey? Getting that out of like, does the lion represent the Philistines? Like, predicting what's to come and saving Israel and getting the honey out of that
And
beast.
she's the honey. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, maybe that because the land is often referred to as like the land of milk and honey, and
Yeah.
finding. Yeah, and maybe that means he's going to find the freedom of the Israelites and predicts that to come. The riddle was really strange. I don't know if it was just lost in translation or something, but out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the answer
So-
is, what is sweeter than honey?
Sweeter
What
than
is stronger
honey.
than a lion?
The lion, yeah. If you had not ploughed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle.
Yeah,
No
because the wife
I don't
goes. The wife tells the Philistines the answer because she
Yeah.
got it straight out of Samson, and then so we see she's still got loyalties to the Philistines even though she's married to Samson. But
Yeah.
that riddle didn't really make sense. So for me personally,
Yeah.
whatever.
But
anyway, yeah.
it was interesting to see what he does after the riddle. So Samson then travels 30 miles away, where he slays 30 Palestinians for their garments. Just gets the job done. Boots on the ground. wants what they're wearing, so he's like, all right,
I'll take
let's have a go. It's just, yeah, I don't know. But he does give it to the groomsmen and I believe the bride as well.
So killing those 30 punters, was that with the donkey's jaw then?
I'm not
No,
sure.
I think that was previously.
Yeah, that was previously, yeah.
He might have kept
Don't-
going.
What do you mean?
I'm not sure. No. Sorry, that comes later. The donkey's jawbone comes later. So then,
Yeah.
then Samson returns to his father's house, giving the garments to everyone in the house, sort of thing. Then Samson goes out, gathers 300 foxes, and ties them together in pairs by their tails. He then attaches a burning torch to each pair of the foxes' tails and turns them loose in the greener fields and olive groves of the Palestinians. Interesting way to just clear the herd, like getting the job done there. The Palestinians then learned why Samson burnt their crops and burnt Samson's wife and father-in-law to death in retribution.
In your copy, does it say Palestines?
Philistines. Sorry, Philistines.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. That's correct.
Um,
Keep that Palestines. Yeah, it's just the Palestines.
That was disgusting.
Just got to.
Just relax.
Palestines on the Yes. Sorry, guys. The Philistines. That's where we're at.
Yeah, so these Philistines really get cleaned up. And then they,
Yeah.
so Samson is kind of like the OG Hercules, which I find really interesting.
Yeah.
Because he's got this, like, we haven't really seen anyone come in with super strength.
Yeah.
And just out of the blue, with like a superhero coming into it.
Yeah, Merc and the
Lean
Lion.
arms.
Clean
ripping
up
apart
enemies.
lions.
Yeah.
There's something to be said there with killing lions. That's the same thing that Hercules did.
Yeah,
Yeah. Killing the lion.
there's something there.
A few other
something to be
things.
said.
I think it's like, I don't know, what does lion represent? Majestic strength or something?
But do you reckon there actually was a punter back in 10,000 BC that was tearing apart lions?
Well, 1000 BC.
Are we calling
Could
it
be.
1,000 or 10,000?
1000.
Because we're calling Moses 14,000.
No, we're not calling Moses 14,000, are we?
No, but it's BC.
Yeah, it's BC. It's before Christ.
Yeah, so it goes
So about 3,000 years.
Yeah, but when are we calling Moses 14?
There's a big gap in between them. I don't think we're calling Moses that 14 because. Let me just have a quick look. When was Moses around?
Yeah, we are, lads. 1391 to 1271. Just before the collapse
but
of the Bronze Age.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it
that's
goes
not
back the other way.
14,000. Yeah, it goes back the other way, cuz.
13 to 1200.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm
So
saying
that's
there's
why-
been a big jump from Moses to now. That's like
Ah.
13,000 years.
Yeah, so there's. No, because there's only been 500 years.
What do you mean?
Oh, sorry. No, there's been. Sorry, there's been 300.
No,
years
1400.
between Moses.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
got,
not
I got mixed
14,000.
up.
Yeah.
1400.
Yeah, so for only for about 400 years, guys.
Alright.
Yeah.
So that goes.
Yeah.
Just relax, guys.
That actually kind of makes sense. Alright, so about 400 years.
It's been a
when you account
14,000 year
for-
gap.
Yeah, that's a lot of generations in the desert.
Yeah, yeah.
Numbers really did drag on.
But then, so this was so then, in revenge, Samson slaughters many more Philistines, saying, "I have done to them what they did to me." Samson then takes refuge in a cave, the rock of Etam, or Etam. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Any army of the Philistines go to the tribe of Judah and demand 3,000 men of Judah deliver them Samson, with Samson's consent given on the condition that the Judahites would not kill themselves. They tie him with 2 new ropes and are about to hand him over to the Philistines. When he breaks free of the ropes, using the jawbone of the donkey, that's when he slays 1,000 Philistines. That's when he just starts going
There it
nuts.
is.
Yeah. So he gets the job.
Yeah.
So that jawbone can really do some damage.
Interesting weapon of choice.
Well, it is in his hand. I think it's because he was in ropes already, so he's getting tied up. You just grab what you can. He grabs the jawbone. Decides this is it.
Start swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they do eventually get him.
They
Jeffrey
do
Sampson.
in Gaza, of all places.
Yeah, so if you look at the old map, I do actually think it's probably worth showing that to you lads.
No problem.
I know how much you love it.
Let's see the map goes.
Where Philistine, the perceived
Palestine.
Philistia, or the area that they're talking about, is actually where Gaza is. So I'll just show you. Share screen.
Let's see, Guz.
Let's see it.
What are we dealing with, Guz?
All right, so this is the old map we all know and love. So down over here is Philistine, or they've labelled it as Philistia here, and that's
Yeah.
where Gaza is. And
Yeah.
there's a few theories out there to say that these peoples back then was actually like some Greeks that came over there and settled. Either way, they weren't Israelites, obviously. So but the actual ethnicity of these people back then, we're talking 1200 or 1000 BC, is they could have been Greeks. And I find that interesting because the Greek story of Hercules and then Samson is
So you reckon that's the
crossing over
tie-in?
here. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Samson's nickname. That's why they, as well as the Greek Hercules. I thought Hercules was Greek in general.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the Greek gods.
So, yeah. So why they some would consider him the Israel version of the Greek Hercules? Well, okay, makes sense. So he's the Israel version of the Greek Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could have been Greek.
Okay. He could have been Greek. You never know, Gus.
Was he the first
So
Hercules?
no.
Yeah. There you have it.
Was he the original?
So then, what actually happens to Samson? They do it. Because I mean, so Hercules, his story is that he goes through like 12 big
Labors.
challenges, 12 labors. Yeah, 12 labors
Yeah.
of Hercules, and this Samson's following a pretty similar ordeal here. Not quite as spelled out as 12 challenges, but he goes through those big milestones, fighting the lion, killing those 1,000 Philistines.
Yeah.
Solving riddles. I don't know. It's kind of a similar vibe to it. But they do eventually kill him, just like they kill Hercules.
They do.
So what do they do to him, Gus?
What do they do to him, Gus? Let's have a look here, Gus. So the Philistines, they assembled the temple of religious sacrifice to Dagon. Now, have you guys looked into Dagon, or just skip past that for the time being?
Dagon, so what, he's like a Philistine god, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's just he gets the job done. He's worshipped in ancient Syria. So you look at, so they assemble, they go talk to Dagon, they summon, so then one of their most important deities for having delivered Samson into their hands, they summon Samson so that the people can watch him perform to them. The temple is so crowded that people are even climbing onto the roof to watch, and all the rulers of the entire government of Philistia have gathered there to watch 3,000 people in all as well. Samson's led in there, obviously. He prays for the strength, and God's give him strength to break the pillars, causing the temple to collapse, killing him and all the people inside as well. So, this gets
So
buried.
that was his last hurrah. Essentially,
Yeah.
they seize him, they gouge out his eyes, and then he's like
Yeah.
just this kind of slave down to the Philistines, dragging ropes around, milling grain, and they cut his hair, and that was a
Yeah.
big source of his strength. But his hair starts. to
His
grow
hair,
back.
his hair does grow back. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So his blind, bald, milling grain, pretty bleak existence. But then you're
Yeah.
right, because he grabs into that temple, one last hurrah. His hair starts to grow back, and then he just tears it down.
yeah. And that's it. Gets the job done.
Yeah, a lot of Hercules crossovers. Tearing down pillars.
Yeah, there's a fair bit
So he
there.
died with the Philistines, and he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple and the rulers and all the people in it. Thus he killed many
Yeah.
more when he died than while he lived.
Yeah, three odd thousand people. He's just trapped in there. They do recover his body too, which is nice. Go and bury him next to his father in Manoah. I'm not sure if you pronounced
Yeah,
that right
too.
either.
Yeah.
Manoah? Manoah? Not sure.
Yeah. Somewhere between Zora and Eshtal.
Just no idea. But it's good to see that they get the job done there.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on it, boys? What's your take?
On Samson?
Just
Oh yeah, just on the judges
On the
itself.
whole.
Yeah.
Oh, the most brutal one was the concubine in the appendix. You boys get to that?
What is it, Cuz?
What's that, Gus?
The I believe it was 19 to 21. Yeah, Levi's concubine. So Judges 19.
19 to 21.
Yeah, have a look at that. It's said to be the most
Oh yeah,
Most
Levi.
gruesome.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the and I'm not sure if you're allowed to say this on YouTube, but yeah, the gang of
Yeah.
all of it. Yeah, a bit
I
intense.
don't know if we can really talk about this on YouTube. That's a good point.
No, I don't.
But,
What did they do?
yeah, it's
They just take their turns with the wives,
Yeah, and then the
non-consensually.
husband is. They ask for the husband. The husband
Yeah.
stays inside, offers up his
Yeah.
wife or concubine.
Yeah.
She gets mutilated, and then
Yeah.
the husband comes out the next day, sees her, decides, I'm gonna let all the tribes know,
Yeah.
cuts her up into 12 pieces, delivers each piece to the tribe.
Yeah.
The tribes are like, what is this? And they, it starts just a war. They kill the husband.
So why did he cut her up? Because of what they did to her.
Yeah, unsure why he cut her up. He's like,
I'm pretty unsure as to why he did as well, especially when he offered her up as
yeah, he's like, I'm
in
gonna.
her place.
They say
in
it's a
his
call
place,
to
it's-
action to
Yeah.
get
Call to
the
arms.
people that did it to her, but it really
Yeah.
backfires, and they're like, mate, why are you cutting her up in the first place? So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it
that's
leads
the
to
war
a
between
civil war in
the-
Benjamites.
Yeah, the Benjamites and the Israelite tribes, after which hundreds of virgins are taken captive as wives for the decimated Benjamites.
But yeah,
Yeah,
brutal story, that one.
yeah,
Brutal book, really. Judges a lot of carnage, a lot of side missions going on.
Yeah, this is really your
Yeah.
classic Old Testament sort of.
We say this every book.
No, but this is literally Old Testament.
This is what you think
To
of
be
when
fair-
you say Old Testament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is this carnage left and right.
And it's crazy though
Judges.
to think that there is, however many billions of people on Earth that religious people anyway that stick to this book, plain and simple. It's quite
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's a bit worrying once
Quite
you
amazing.
once you start going through the nitty gritty of the
When
Old Testament.
you're like, you think the Bible is just such a sweet and innocent book of, do's and don'ts in a way, and
Yeah,
in
recommendations.
reality, it's
How to make
it's a
it
bit
have
more
a good moral compass.
yeah, a bit
Get
more
down to-
severe than that.
Yeah, in terms of actual volume and word count, there's probably more detail on the throes of this concubine than the entire Noah story.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the inconsistency in the writing. we gloss over Joshua like it's nothing, and then we got chapters on, people getting
Just-
mutilated.
It's
It's
severe shit. Yeah.
yeah. The writers need to sort this shit out. But
Yeah, well, it's pretty full on stuff, and I think it's just because you're so deep into it at this point that when you're in the body of the text, you can
Yeah.
slip through a lot of stories that would have raised a few eyebrows back in Genesis.
Yeah.
yeah, Genesis,
Because
they
I didn't think
really
you'd get this
lure you
far.
in. They lure you in with the nice open starts,
Family-friendly
Yeah.
stories,
Yeah.
Garden of
sunshine and
Eden.
rainbows. Yeah,
Yeah,
fresh
It's
fruits.
Moses.
all, yeah.
Moses.
Everything's all sweet and innocent, and then you just come straight into the last few books, and it's all happening.
Judges is the rough
It's
stuff
brutal.
they do.
It has been the most brutal book I find, and yeah, I think we've really hit the ground running now. I think we're in for a bit more.
yeah. We're well and truly into the thick of it now, lads.
Where does it
Yeah.
see off in Judges? Where
It was just the Benjaminites taking their wives, and then
Yeah, that's a bit. Despite the
in those
appearances
days,
at the end
Israel
of the
had no
book,
king. Everyone
Yeah,
did as they
you're
saw
right.
fit. So it ends as a free for all.
yeah,
Yeah. So and what's up next?
Ruth.
Baruch was next. Yeah,
I didn't know Ruth was a book.
Well, you guys are gonna like this because it's all of 3 pages.
Could do a live
excellent.
reading.
I might actually read that one instead of listen to it. Worth it.
And then
And then we get into the big. Then we get into the big fella. Then we get into the Samuel.
Samuel, quite juicy.
Samuel 1,
Samuel
Samuel
is
2.
big. Oh god.
Yeah.
All right.
1
Well,
Samuel,
let's
2
just enjoy
Samuel.
it. We'll just leave it at Ruth for next week.
All right, guys. Let's
We can
do it.
get what? Sammy one done, maybe? How long is each?
We can get Sammy one done.
Yeah, let's get. No. Let's just leave it on Ruth. Let's just leave it on Ruth. We're breaking it up into books, boys. Let's just not skip through.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Deep dive into each.
Let's do
Deep
deep
dive
dive
into
into
each.
Well, next week I
Alright,
think we
that's
need to jump back to Russia Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm
There's
keen
been
for that.
There's been some things happening over there.
Or any only news headline I thought I'd touch on today. Obviously the school shooting in the States. Another one.
Yeah.
14-year-old, 4 people shot. A lot more people in there. Being tried as an adult. So Colt Gray, I think his name is. So been
Could we see
arrested,
that
obviously,
coming into
surrounded.
the? Could we see that coming into the debates? Do you reckon, guys? School shootings. They never really seem to crop up anyway.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think it's because it's so heavily linked to gun control, and obviously, like you saw, Kamala Harris has taken a big back step on gun control as well. Wants that middle class who loves their guns. So I don't see that coming into the debate at all.
Yeah,
Although it
neither
is
party really
interesting.
wants to touch on it.
Yeah, no one wants
There's
to
too
touch
much
on
at
it.
risk.
Yeah, everyone loves their guns, so I can't imagine that they'll be touching base on that one.
That's fair.
We had some comments in the live stream.
Have we? What have we got?
What do we see?
What do we see, guys?
Looking good, boys. Hi, boys. Interesting parallel from Dad. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the support.
You see on live stream? I love it.
Yeah, good to see.
Very good. Very good. So
Alright,
we've had a
chaps.
few comments.
Yeah.
Morning, boys. We'll shoot the boys alive.
I hope you have a good one. Well, shout
Well,
out
that's
to
good,
our,
lads.
yeah.
We're in Sydney for the marathon next weekend, so it could be a bit tricky getting this one up in the air.
Could just do one on the road, cuz. Just a little Sydney special.
Let's see how we go. Because the Saturday morning we're all on planes and stuff, so from your end it will be a little bit.
Why
But
don't,
we'll keep you
why
posted.
don't we just postpone it till like do a little midweek session?
Yeah, I think if
following
we're gonna
week.
skip a week, we should do Sam 1.
Sammy one.
I agree with that. I agree with that. We'll have a lot to unpack anyway. Yeah, marathon scores, how your run's going, obviously the debate.
Debate.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. So probably set aside 2 hours instead of the hour and a half that this one went for.
This one really, for the live stream, they really got the money's worth. Dragged down.
They're dragged on, boys. All right, good work today, lads.
All right, boys, take care.
Well done, lads.
See you, lads. Bye. Bye.